Welcome to my July 2022 update on credit card news and offers. In a moment, I will tell you about some welcome deals which are going to end shortly, but are definitely worth thinking about. But first of all, a little bit of news. And the first one of these is around American Express's Preferred Rewards Gold credit card. Always a bit of a mouthful to say that, often just called it the Amex Gold. Now, this one has been, I think, a pretty decent deal card. I'll talk about the deal in a moment. But there are some big changes coming to this card from the 12th of October 2022. The first one of these is the annual fee is jumping up from 140 quid to 160 quid. Now, you don't pay this in the first year. And often I've said to people when I recommended this card as a good option in terms of earning some points, particularly the bonus points, that when you get to the end of that first year, cancel it. I personally don't see the value in paying for another year of that card, particularly not 140 quid, especially not 160 quid. You might think differently. You might think some of the benefits that come with this card are worth paying for. And some of them are improving, as I'll detail in a second. But broadly, it's worth knowing about this. But I still think for most of you, it's just another reminder. Don't let that card auto-renew, carry on. Make sure you cancel it at the end of that first year. Now, if you do carry on paying it, or the first year, whatever it is, there is a bonus which is changing as well. So there's a welcome bonus, which is separate. But then if you spend £15,000 on the card in a card year, the year starts from when you first opened it. So not January the 1st, the date you opened it. And obviously the anniversary is the same date every year. In that 12-month period, if you spend £15,000, at the moment, you'll get a £10,000 Amex reward point bonus. Now those points, if you swap them into a gift card, it's worth about 50 quid at the likes of Amazon. If you swap it first into Avios points and then into Nectar points, don't ever go straight from Amex points into Nectar points because you won't get the same value. Do that little jump. They're worth about 80 quid. So you spend 10 grand, you get an 80 quid bonus, and that's on top of the points that you'll be earning throughout the year, which is pretty nice, but I still don't think it justifies that fee. It's not worth it in that view. However, this is changing. And in fact, for most people, it's going to be a lot better because that 15 grand spend in a year is going to be out of the reach of most people. Or if you're spending that much, you've probably got better cards you could go for. What they're going to do again from that same date, 12th of October, they're going to start staggering these bonuses. And now every time you spend £5,000 on that card, you will get 2,500 points as a bonus. So that's how much you'd get for 5 grand spent. The next 5 grand you spend, so a total of 10K, you'll get 5,000 points and so on upwards. In fact, there's no limit on this. You'll keep getting these each time you spend 5 grand. And every time you spend 5 grand on the card, that bonus will be triggered and you automatically get it. There's no waiting to the end of the year to get that bonus points. Now, what are they worth? Well, it's not a huge amount of money. £5,000 spend 2,500 points. That's worth £12.50 as a gift card, 20 quid as Nectar points. Better than nothing, but still not amazing. And as you go up, £10,000 spend, 5,000 points. That's worth 25 quid and you get 40 points if you convert them into Nectar. Now, you might notice here, obviously, that means if you spend 15,000 points, which previously you needed to spend to trigger a £10,000 point bonus, you'll now only get 7,500 points. So if you are someone who normally spends 15K, you're going to get less points. However, if you spend 20K, you're going to get 10,000 points, which is what you would have got before. So then suddenly if you spend 25K, you're going to get more points. So most people are going to get more, but if you spend between 15 and 25K, you're going to get less points than you would have done before, or the same number of points if you're 15 to 20K. So again, not a reason to get the card, but it's certainly worth knowing about it if you are spending on there and a little bit extra in that first year particularly. Another change is happening in terms of the priority passes. You get 3 priority pass, normally you get 2, you're going to get 4 of these. Again, something else I don't think it's worth paying for, but if you've got the card and you're going to be traveling, then 4 airport lounge passes, that's not too bad. Otherwise, it stays the same. There are no real changes there. And actually, let's talk about one of those welcome bonuses now. I was going to do it later, but let's talk it because it is this particular card. Until the 19th of July, so just a few more weeks from now, you can get a boosted welcome bonus with this card. If you go via a link on the Amex website, you'll get 30,000 points rather than 20,000 points when you spend 3 grand in 3 months. You've got to make sure you spend 3 grand in 3 months. If you go via a refer a friend link and ask your mates who've got an Amex or look online, I'm sure you can find the codes. I've got one on my site as well. Then you'll get 35,000 points. So you get a little bit more. However, you could also apply via a cashback site rather than go directly to Amex, and maybe you'll get some hard cash when you apply and then the 30,000 points. You weigh up what you think is best for you. That is going on, say, until the 19th of July. I think that's a pretty decent offer if you want an American Express and you want a healthy bonus from them. However, let's go on to the other deal that's going on, because this one potentially is a lot better if you're eligible. And this is with the Barclaycard Avios Plus credit card. Now, they are boosting their welcome bonus until the 18th of July, so roughly the same amount of time. You've got 2.5 weeks from when I'm releasing this video before that ends. And this is only for new Barclaycard customers. Okay, if you already have a Barclaycard, you will not get this welcome bonus. And in fact, if you've got one right now and you're tempted to get in this card, then you probably have to cancel it and wait at least 6 months, either for a similar offer or their normal undergoing non-boosted offer to be accepted for that. But if you don't have a Barclaycard right now, and if you think you can spend £3,000 in 3 months, you will get 50,000 bonus points. This is Avios points, so it's not completely comparable to the deal I mentioned just now, but 50,000 rather than 25,000. Now, if you want to collect Avios points, that is a lot of Avios points. If you don't want them and you want to use them in places like Sainsbury's and eBay and where else, Argos, you can convert them straight into Nectar points. And if you did that, 50,000 points would be worth 400 quid. That's a massive bonus. That's really, really, really good. Caveat here though is this card comes with a £20 fee every single month. You can cancel it at any time, so you don't have to pay for the whole year. And if you did spend £3,000 in 3 months to get this card, maybe you can do it less time, but let's assume you're spending it in the 3 months, you trigger that bonus and then cancel the card, well, the most you're going to pay is 60 quid. So that knocks it down from £400 profit to 340 quid. But don't forget, you're also earning Avios points every time you spend on this card. And that will be for a £3,000 spend. If again, converting those Avios points into Nectar points, worth another 36 quid. So this could easily be worth £376. That is much, much better than the 280 equivalent you'd get with that gold rewards card deal that I mentioned just now. So if you're thinking of one or the other, I absolutely go with this Barclaycard Avios Plus credit card before the gold one. You might not be eligible for one or the other, and that might help you make that decision. There is also a boosted bonus on the free Barclaycard Avios card. This one boosts it from 5,000 points to 10,000 points if you spend £1,000 in the first 3 months. That value, that 10,000 points, Avios converted to Nectar is worth 80 quid, which again, isn't bad for a free card, but again, once again, you do need to be new to Barclaycard to be eligible for this offer. What else to tell you about? More changes while we're talking about British Airways and Avios and all these kind of things. The Amex card from British Airways, this one has been quite popular for people who want to earn a companion voucher, a 2-for-1 voucher, one that they can use to get essentially a free flight when they book a BA flight. I've not always been a massive fan of these. Whenever I've looked at them, you needed a lot of points. You needed to spend a lot of money to learn a lot of Avios points in order to redeem them on a flight. But then that didn't cover the whole thing. You've also got to pay for taxes on top and some other charges. And when I've looked at that, how much it's worth, those Avios points, convert them alternatively into Nectar points and spending them like Sainsbury's on your groceries, and then add that same value you get for those points to the taxes, it's been quite expensive. And often it's been more expensive than just actually earning cash back elsewhere, using probably a higher rate of cash back on a different card potentially, and using that money to shop around and find the flight that you want. I know some people rave about using them for premium and business class flights, but again, I think they're so expensive. Even if you factor in you've got loads and loads of points, you're still spending shed loads in taxes on top. So I'm not a massive fan of these vouchers, okay? However, there's been a big change with the Amex version of these, the British Airways Amex premium credit card version of the voucher, because they call a companion voucher, a 2-for-1 voucher. You can now use it to get 50% off the Avios points for a solo traveler. So that will save you, again, you can get a decent discount on number of points you need. However, you're still paying the full amount in taxes, which again, thinks it quite expensive. I'd still rather just earn the points elsewhere and spend them and look for my own flights. But again, it's worth letting you know about that if you're someone who does collect points and actively wants these things. This comes into play from, when is it? The 1st of September 2022 for new vouchers issued after then. If you've got an existing voucher, it's still 2-for-1 only. You can't use it for 50% off on a solo traveler. What else to tell you about? Only probably a couple more things to talk about here. Santander have probably, if you've got a Santander credit card, you might have been emailed or written to about this, or you might have seen it advertised. They're pushing this quite hard. They're giving 1% cash back on overseas spending in the summer of 2022, which sounds pretty good. 1% cash back abroad. Yes, you can get that with Chase Bank as a debit card, but other than that, it's very hard to beat that overseas. In theory, the problem is with the Santander credit cards, all the new ones you can apply for right now, they're either going to have a transfer fee, a 2.95%, sorry, conversion fee for using it overseas. So actually you'll pay 2.95% and get 1% back. Well, that's still 1.95% you're being charged for a transaction when you don't need to do this. There are a number of cards, debit and credit cards, which are fee free. So that kind of makes it rather kind of pointless. Or the all-in-one credit card you can get, that charges £3 a month. Again, I don't think that's worth getting it. There are free alternatives that will give you similar benefits that won't charge you. So again, if you see this offer, I wouldn't bother. The only reason potentially why you might want to get it is if you've got an older Santander credit card that is fee-free to use overseas and doesn't have a monthly fee, and you are going to spend £500 abroad, because that's the other thing. You have to spend £500 abroad before that cashback is activated. You'll get it on that 500 quid any subsequent spend, but spend less you won't. I personally wouldn't bother, but it's worth letting you know about this. And the last thing to tell you about this is not going to be necessarily for all of you, but if you do have a Barclaycard, check your emails, check your post, because you may well have been sent an offer to add your Barclaycard to Apple Pay. Again, you have to have an iPhone. If you don't have an iPhone, this won't work. But add your card to Apple Pay and then use it for a transaction of at least £1, and then you will get a £10 credit applied to your card. So that is a nice little way of getting £9 bonus. Essentially, if you're spending the money anyway, which hopefully you would be, £10 free cash. It does say that it's only for people who receive the email or receive the letter. When I activated it, I got an email saying it was live. You potentially could always just give it a go. If you've got a Barclaycard, not the Avios ones we mentioned before, but any other Barclaycard, add it to your Apple Pay. See if you get a confirmation come through that you'll get this. This one runs until the end of the month. And incidentally, while we're talking about Barclaycard, that offer, the pretty decent offer, I think, if you've got one, to giving you up to 5 months free Apple Music, Apple TV, other kind of Apple things. That one was meant to end mid-July. It's now been extended till September. So you've got time to still get hold of that one, either as an existing or a new Barclaycard customer. My name is Andy Webb. Thank you so much for watching. Check out these videos here for more on helping you save on your credit cards.